On YouTube. This video is to show what I did on my GX rear hatch for an interior release, so you can open the hatch from the inside. It's not a tutorial by any means, it's just a video again showing what I did, and also had a troubleshooting issue that hopefully it's helpful for some. So what happened here was my rear handle stopped working. Dealership wanted all sorts of money to either fix and or diagnose it. So I took it apart, and as it turns out, it really wasn't, for a change, it was a nice surprise. All this was is this little ball that activates that cable. It was just, I guess, stuck for lack of a better term. It hadn't gone back all the way, and it hasn't done it since. So I'm going to run with that and see if I can figure out what that was. Maybe lubricated or something. But anyway, so that's why I had to take this apart, and that's when I ran into the issue. Of course, you can't open it from the inside. It was closed, and so I wasn't really sure how I was going to do. But as it turns out, you can take this panel off. I took it off with the door closed. It does come straight out. It's a pretty kind of a tight fit, and you're decently careful. It's fine. It does come out. So I decided to put a mechanism here while I'm at it, so I can open it from the inside. What I ended up doing here, as you can tell, it's all taken apart. I'm not going to show how I took it apart. It's pretty simple. There's other videos that I benefited from, so I appreciate all those who showed that. They do just come out with the simple press clips, and the handle does come out with just two bolts. Take this plug out. There's two. You can see those there. And so what I ended up doing here is I used some old cable that I had left over from a project. 1/8-inch cable. You can use other things, I'm sure. But so the way this mechanism works is it's a simple pivot to drop that and then release that way. So I decided to try to make it to where I can pull straight up like this from the top. And the way I did that was I just used an eye bolt with a couple nuts and a lock washer, and I decided to put it down there in the bottom corner because I figured that was a pretty good shot at a very efficient angle for it to operate smoothly without trying to not stress the part unnecessarily in a weird way. So I bought a couple of eyelets for a cable rail. I do have the crimper from an old project. Like I said, I realized not everyone's going to have that. I'm sure you can crimp these in other ways if you'd like to do the same thing, but it's up to you. There's lots of ways to do this. This is just what I did. In case you're wondering how I got these two together, I did open up the eyelet, this bottom one. It's not welded shut. I just opened it up, slipped it in, and then clamped it back on, and that's that. So I'll pause the video now, put this back, and I'll show you the other end of it. So the other end is right here, obviously not in, because I was going to put a simple eyelet on the other side with a simple paracord pull. Here's my panel. What I ended up doing is just a hole in the top, and with that groove. So that groove is not ideal. I didn't want that groove, but I'm willing to deal with that so that I can take the panel off without having issues later with this mechanism. So basically the cable will just slide through there, and I can pop it out if I want to make modifications. The way I did that here, you'll see the angle just comes straight up here, and I made a hole right here at the top. If I get my finger there we go, it's right through there. The angle for this is really just eyeballed whatever I could. I was just trying to get a clear straight angle to again minimize the strain on the part, just to pull straight up. And there's a significant amount of room here. I don't know if you can see, there's a small piece of metal back here. You'll have to feel it out, and again, drill where you will if you want to do this. There's really nothing back here. It's just hollow, and there's significant amount of angles that will work, I'm sure. This is just what I did, like I said. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is with the handle reinstalled. You can see those two bolts just go back in there and through this hole. Sorry about that. This hole, there's the other one back through there. And that's what that looks like. Okay, now where I decided to put it, in case you do the same thing, this mechanism for the lock, it's about if you put in that bottom corner. I'm going to pull up on it here so you can see. It clears it. It's very close. So I'm sure if you go up higher on the plate or in or more, a little bit higher actually, it'll still work. But like I said, it's just what I did. And so coming up through the hole I just fed it through, just pull straight up, and it should be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to now put the panel back on, and try to crimp that eyelet on there, and I will come back when that's done. Now, one thing I would recommend to do, if you do this hole, the size really doesn't matter. I just did a hole and I elongated it, or opened it up a little bit more, and then just, simple file, just to file off any rough edges to lessen the amount of strain on that cable. Of course, you're not going to be using this a million times, but even if you are, it should help it last longer. So let me put that panel back on and I'll be right back. All right, and this is with the crimp on. All right, and then the simple pull up. It's actually really smooth. I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. And so the idea is I'll be able to pull this up and then just slide that cable on through the back of that slot into the hole there. And that way I can pull the panel off, because I was really trying to think about if I could avoid that slot, and I wasn't seeing how, just because it goes up through here. I figured it has enough slack to be able to move the entire panel off to the side if I needed to work on it later, but if it goes through here, it's really going to limit, and the whole panel is going to be hanging way up here. I just didn't like that, so that's why I did that slot. So let's put that panel on and I'll be right back again. Okay, and here's the finished product with everything back on. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So basically this is all you see, and I'm totally happy with that, for the convenience of being able to take it off and not have to worry about everything being perfect. And so that's right there. So it does have actually a little bit of play before it actually engages, and that's totally up to you of how tight you want to leave that string or the cable, whatever you opt to use. If you do it this way, I was okay with a little extra. That way I didn't have to measure the cable. It was long, and you can just tuck it all back down in there, and that's what it looks like. It spins a little bit and you're good to go. We'll go ahead and I'll pause it and go to the inside and we'll test it out. And one other non-related thing here, this little netting here, I know it's also a point of failure over the years. Mine's an 04, so it's plenty old enough. I like those molly panels, but since I'm wanting to put a table on here later, this was just sagging, and good old paracord. I just made a little loosener. This is basically what it looked like, and I thought it was shot, but turns out it's not. You can make a little cinch with it here. I can't really cinch it with one hand, but yeah, I can't really cinch it with one hand. I have to creep it up like this, but yeah, you get the idea. It'll hold it tight. So let me go inside and we'll test it out. All right, and here we are on the inside. Try to pull it up. And she opens right up. Not much effort at all. I'm really happy with that. And that's all you see. So since we're in here, I can show you. It does look like it doesn't come out, but basically you carefully pry these. What I did, carefully pry these off first, and just move them out of the way just a little bit, and then all these pop off all the way around. Like I said, it's a very tight fit, but it will come out, so you're not actually stuck. There is one screw behind here that you do need to take out, unless you probably will break this. But again, like I said, there's tutorials or other people doing that elsewhere on YouTube. So I hope this has been helpful. If you want to leave a comment with any questions, again, this was not meant to be an exhaustive video, but hopefully I covered all the little things. I'm trying to think of any other helpful little detail. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.